This is Andy Parawal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman here in Saudi Arabia. Mauricio, it's good to see you. How are you?
Fine, fine, Andy. I see you everywhere in the world. ID Boxing, very good, very happy.
Mauricio, as always, we appreciate your support and appreciate you giving up some time today. We're here, Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. It's a fight which has been spoken about for 2 years, Mauricio. What are your thoughts now? We've here the build-up, the rivalry. What have you made of it all?
Well, it's great. I love it. Boxing is being watched by millions of people. Uh, uh, Jake Paul has brought millions of new eyeballs to the sport, and this is very good, and we have to support that. Tommy Fury comes from a great family. His brother is the heavyweight champion in the WBC. So it's a very interesting fight. It's a very interesting boxing event, and I'm fully supportive of it.
You've been supportive of that crossover side to the sport. A lot of YouTubers coming into it, MMA stars coming into it, and you've certainly supported that, Mauricio. Why is it that for you, you feel like it's beneficial for boxing to have people from other walks of life come into our sport?
Because we're all champions, we're all boxers. Whatever you do in life is a battle, it's a fight. And to have Jake Paul with millions of followers come to boxing, he could have chosen tennis, he could have chosen wrestling, he could have chosen other sports. Let's embrace him and teach the world what boxing is all about. He's a real boxer who has dedicated a lot of time, effort, dedication to the sport in the gym, and he's growing and learning great skills and boxing skills. So I, instead of criticizing or rejecting the idea, it's a reality, we have to take it and make sure that it is done properly with the medical measurements, with all the elements that are prevented to take the risk down for any injury in boxing.
We know you've created a special Diriyah belt for this fight as well. Mauricio, talk to me about where the inspiration and the idea for that came from.
That came from the local promotion. They're celebrating the Diriyah season. They gave us the elements to work on the belt. And this is a commemorative trophy, a celebration of this event. The winner will take that belt home as a memory of Saudi Arabia and the Diriyah season. So it is something to bring a little bit of cultural and regional greatness to this event that is going to be watched all over the world.
Mauricio is going to be watched all around the world for sure, and one of the things that you've brought into this fight is there's a ranking at stake for the winner. Again, talk to me about where you got this idea from, where you permitted for the winner to claim that ranking.
I had the idea last year, and I made a comment, and I was bombarded. I said if he defeated Da Silva, I would look into his ranking. And the ratings committee did not approve it. This time is different. Now, after watching the way he fought with Da Silva, after watching the punching power, the skills, the defense, he has made a great impression on how he has evolved and become better. And Tommy Fury is a fighter. He's a very solid fight, two undefeated fighters, so the winner will be ranked.
There was some confusion when it first came out. Some people thought it was top 15. That's not the case, Mauricio. It's top 40, I believe.
They love to make confusion and reach, and make controversy. So it's clear, nobody said top 15, nobody gave a number. We have 40 fighters ranked in every division, and the winner will be ranked.
In that top 40.
Yeah, top 40.
Just away from obviously the main event, WBC title is on the line in the co-main event. Ilunga Makabu and Badu Jack. Just talk to me about that fight, Mauricio.
It's a great fight. Makabu is a solid champion. Badu Jack, two-time world champion, two-division champion. Both are great persons, family men, They have a great career with the WBC. So it's one of those difficult fights to watch when you have two very dear, close friends going into the ring. The winner will be the WBC Cruiserweight champion, and I'm very proud because this is a great stage to have this fight.
We expect to see shows continue to return to the Middle East and here to Saudi Arabia. Maurizio, how do you expect to see Saudi Arabia promote the sport of boxing moving forwards?
I was very impressed by Prince Khaled yesterday and his statement and his confirmation that they're moving forward in promoting boxing. It's not one event a year. They're going to start promoting, and they want to become the capital of boxing of the world. I see the commission is working very well. The promoter, I love the press conference yesterday. It was very well put. They have put interest. They are doing refreshing. So I see a great future for the Middle East, for Saudi Arabia, and we will support as much as we can.
Mauricio, away from Saudi, I'm sure there's one topic which you've had a lot of people, especially those from Britain, asking you and talking to you about, and that's of Conor Benn. Obviously, this week you released your statement around Conor. Can you just firstly give me your explanation, your reasoning as to how you came to your conclusion?
I am not a scientist, and the WBC, in every adverse finding, forms a committee that takes care of the full investigation. And they have reached that ruling and have released it. It's very clear, and this is where we are.
You've said obviously you're not a scientist, Maurizio. With that in mind, how much involvement then do you have in that process of where we've reached with your statement?
I have some involvement, of course. We have the legal committee, we have the scientists, the medical committee, the nutrition committee, and the experts, outside experts that were contracted to review all the situations. And I don't run the committee. I'm not the one in participation. I mediate and see some of the things. I had a hearing with Conor Benn and his team. So I'm part, but not really into the details.
Mauricio, I'm sure regardless of that, you've had played your part in the statement that was released. There's a few things I just wanted to ask you about from it. It said in the statement his defence centred on allegations of potential laboratory analysis failures and irregularities in connection with the analysis of his samples and of the results of the samples testing. Later in the document, it references the contamination of eggs. The contamination of eggs wouldn't fall under that part that I've just read to you, would it?
I don't know. They have a claim that something about the lab that was addressed, and then the dietary and the nutrition part was addressed, and the supplements, everything. But as I said, everything was put into the committee, and that was the ruling that was worded and drafted and put to the Board of Governors, and that was the decision.
Obviously, within the statement, the contamination of eggs was mentioned further down the line, so it wasn't the initial point which was made by Conor and his team. With that in mind, talks about the process of allowing that to come into play and why it wasn't maybe mentioned when you'd first found out about Conor's adverse findings.
Everything is in the document. We did it. It says by timeline. So we received the information in January and February about the dietary. So it is by time that it's the document explains. It was a very long process.
Mauricio, there's still a few other questions around it. I'm sure you were expecting as well. It came out as well, it was not until early January 2023 that the WBC Results Management Unit was able to undertake the full substantive analysis of Mr. Benn's arguments and defences. Why did it take such a long period from the adverse findings until January to begin to analyse everything?
I don't want to be incorrect to you. The statement is there. The statement is clear. I cannot discuss further. The ruling is clear. It's all there. And I don't want to be rude. I always answer every single question. But why or what, it's not on our side. So what we put there, it's very clearly explained. I hope that you understand.
I do. Still got to continue to push, Maurizio. Obviously, we're sticking with the line of contamination. Do you have any idea as to how many eggs were meant to have been consumed by Conor?
No. Uh, as I said, the matter is closed. I will not comment anymore on the matter. The WBC has put the ruling publicly, and that's all that I have to say.
I do just want to add, Maurizio, just on clomiphene itself. So, clomiphene is banned when it comes to their use in animals within the UK. So, would this mean that Conor Benn would have been consuming eggs which would have been imported into Britain, or would he have been gaining them from somewhere within the UK illegally? Have you asked him for the source of wherever they may have came from?
I'm not going to answer any. I'm not speculating, and these are all speculative questions. So it has nothing to do. If you want to ask him, go ahead and ask him.
Unfortunately, Conor's not talking yet.
Well, I cannot respond for Conor. I don't know where he buys his eggs.
So you did you ask him though? Have you asked him as the
No, and I'm not commenting anymore.
He has said himself that he's happy with the outcome, but he didn't agree with everything that was in there. Is that still going to be an ongoing process between yourself and Conor? He said he's going to reach back out once he's been through things with his legal team.
I don't know. That's up to him.
The British Boxing Board of Control themselves have said that they've got their own ongoing investigation. They never received this document, Maurizio, that was sent to you. Have you had any communication with them?
We communicate with the British Boxing Board of Control, but you look like if I'm in trial or something.
Please don't feel like that, Mauricio.
No, I mean, the WBC has finalized its process, and we put it out in a ruling, and that's all that I have to say.
One final one then, Mauricio, because I can see that this isn't going to go much further. The WBC have said that they'll include Conor Benn back into their ratings and their rankings. Whereabouts will you look to place him?
That will be up to the ratings committee. That will take place next month, March. We're a few days away from March.
Mauricio, I can tell that there's not much more I can get out of you on the topic. I appreciate you obviously answering the questions as best as you could this time. Hopefully, when things become a bit more clearer, we can talk more about it. But for now, I know it's getting late. I know you've got places to be and people to see. So it's always a pleasure, and thank you for speaking to me.
I invite you and everyone who wishes to look at this matter with a clear understanding to visit the WBC webpage and read the Clean Boxing Program protocol. There's so much information, it is very clear, and I invite people to not jump into conclusions right away. You know, if you are to kill someone, you still go to trial. Even if you do it in front of the cameras or whatever, anything has to have a process, a due process. So that's what we do, and we rule on justice and safety. That's it.
Was this a much more complicated process than you imagined when you first found out about it?
No, every single process is very complicated. We have had clenbuterol. We have had what was the Povetkins. It was very, very famous. So it's very complicated. Everything that has to do with the anti-doping.
I did also see that it was mentioned you're going to, and the WBC are going to send over.
Meldonium.
The WBC are going to send over to WADA about trying to take into consideration how easy it may be to consume clomiphene into further analysis and in case this comes up again. Can you just expand a little bit more on that?
Look, people still today, a few haters call Canelo a cheater. That was clenbuterol, and we made the case 5 years ago. In 2011, there was a soccer tournament in Mexico, world tournament, and of the 200 tests that they performed, like 130 kids turned out positive for clenbuterol. And then a couple of fighters had that issue. And from the documentation and the case that we did, WADA has moved the threshold very high. They have moved that threshold. And I am sure it's going to happen with this substance.
All right, Mauricio, we went a bit longer there than what I had intended, so I appreciate you doing this. Enjoy your evening, enjoy the rest of your time here in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for speaking to me.
Same to you, and all the best to ID Boxing.